shipping container. We're gonna empty it, you guys, because we're moving it tomorrow.
So exciting!
We had a lot of work ahead of us and not a lot of sunlight left to do it in. The day before the big move, we emptied our shipping container because that is what the moving company requested, and that is when we had time to move it. That meant all of the stuff stored in the shipping container was in our 2 vehicles, our patio, and my stepdad's trailer overnight. I was praying that there would be no rain. Then Ginger cleaned up the hillside that the container would sit up next to, so it would be positioned square with the retaining wall. Everything was looking good for the move the next day. Welcome to Ginger and the Giant.
Well, this is gonna be filled with a shipping container soon.
It's a good day.
It's vacant, and when I do this in just like, I don't know, half hour, we'll be inside a shipping container.
We have a 40-foot container. I think it's the 9-foot high ceiling. It's roughly gonna reach all the way to this mark here. It's about 40 feet to the wall. We'll backfill that so kids don't fall down behind it, and we'll have storage right next to our living quarters. This container's been in this spot for so long, it's kind of sunk in the ground, so I'm just quickly digging the little corner attachment point out, and then he should be good to grab it. Hopefully he has enough room, pretty tight. I've spent a lot of my life digging. I'm a simple man. You know, it's nice when it's on my own property. It just feels good. I got that hole dug out, should be good to go. Behind me, he's coming right there. That guy is moving our container.
Don, the truck driver, had to get his trailer underneath the container to start the moving process. To do this, he pulled out the truck's loading chain, tilted the truck bed, backed up as close as he could get to the container, and attached the loading chain to the container's bottom corners. He then pulled the loading chains with a winch so there was tension and raised his tilt bed.
We're getting lift! You see that? It's up off the ground! It's happening!
This lifted up the shipping container high enough to place a block underneath it to hold it in place, while the truck and tilt bed were resituated to get the tilt bed underneath the shipping container. Since the container wasn't straight with the truck, Don tried to align it with only pulling from one end of the loading chain, but it overcorrected. Ginger was eager to help and saw the opportunity to jump in, so he reattached the loading chain and they quickly got back on track. Once this was complete, Don was able to drag the shipping container out to a spot where he could load it onto his truck with the shipping container doors towards his cab. This was important so when he unloaded it, it would be correctly oriented. He couldn't do this initially because of the way our shipping container was originally positioned. Now that the right end was accessible, Don and Ginger went through the whole process of getting the shipping container on the truck bed again. Don gave Ginger a crash course on the machinery so he could reel in the winch while Don drove the truck in reverse. This made it so Don wouldn't have to get in and out of the truck to inch the container on the truck bed. But for some reason, this wasn't fully working. After a couple more attempts, they were able to get it far enough on to lift it up and move it, and that was just gonna have to be good enough.
Don's making it happen. He's the man.
And just like that, our precariously placed container was as ready as it was going to get to move to its new home.
He's good. Sheesh. That's really good. Babe, I don't know how he gets it around that corner.
We were in a predicament. Right about where Ginger is standing is the start to a slope on our property. That was preventing Don from being able to move his truck the way he needed to get the container where we wanted it.
Hopefully he has enough room, pretty tight.
The plan from here was to put the container down where Don's truck had enough room to pull forward, then try to pivot it by pushing it with his tilt bed. He was only able to move it slightly with the angle he was pushing from, plus he was trying to be careful not to hit the retaining wall. So Ginger grabbed his truck, hooked it up to the front right corner of the container, then pulled while Don pushed.
It's happening, you guys. It's happening. Oh my word.
And that was as much as Don could do. We were so impressed with how much he was able to accomplish despite the obstacles we had. While the container was still propped up, Ginger grabbed some of our plywood to slip underneath to hopefully ease the process of moving it to its final location later.
I may not be helping you, but I'm making you look really good.
Don worked hard to help us find a solution and left us with some ideas of how to possibly slide it into place. He was incredible, and we are so thankful for all of his help. At this point, we had very mixed emotions. It was exciting that we got this far, but we were also overwhelmed with finding and executing a solution to finish moving our shipping container.
So Ginger is currently digging out the corner here so that he could potentially jack up the shipping container.